Grand Rises, good folks. Gratitude to the spirit of the Most High God, the Most High omnipotent being, and my ancestors as well. I am just grateful for this rise. I'm grateful for my breath. I'm grateful for my strength. I'm grateful for having everything that I need. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for the people who are in my life, but I'm also grateful for the connections that I am making. I am grateful for the wisdom and discernment, for the knowledge and the revelation, and for the mind to be able to acknowledge, to be on the right path in this life journey and being in alignment for the divine assignment, right? Because when things are put in front of you or ahead of you, sometimes we move so fast that we don't catch it, or that we don't recognize what is going on. A lot of people pray for certain things, but we don't slow down to recognize what prayers are answered, or what things are the things that are taking place in our favor. You know, the little and the big blessings, acknowledging the small and the big things. You know, people, it's very common that people, they give more power and worship things that really have no real value, you know? And you know, there's a lot of things that is being made popular and being made is being glorified that really shouldn't be, you know. And for people who are taking the time to do the things that's going to evolve them and elevate them and get them to the next level, and doing it with a righteous intent and to be righteous, having that in mind is what's important. And those things should be magnified and what we should focus on. You know, like for people, you know, there's a difference between people feeling, you know, lonely and being alone. You should always make time for your family and your community, and we should experience each other and experience life with people that we care about and that we love, because it's very important. It's a part of the human experience. But people, they don't talk about how a part of the transition and growth and the maturation process, or whatever process that you're going through in growth and you know, progressing in life, a lot of times that look like you spending time by yourself. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be lonely, but if you are in your aloneness and you don't feel happy about it, you know, that's normal as well. A part of the human experience is if you are alone sometimes and you don't feel happy about it. But if you are the type of person that thrive in your alone time, and you are creative, and you're able to get downloads and divine insights, and you're able to grow and progress even in your alone time, that is something that you should be proud of. That's not something that you should frown upon, because people, they make it seem as though, you know, being with people or having someone around them 24/7 is something that is required for one to sustain themselves, or for one to live or thrive. When people are healing, or when people are trying to wait for spirit for divine guidance and answers, or trying to reach certain goals, sometimes you can't do it with other people. People are using other people to feel good, to suppress their conditions, maybe their mental conditions, maybe the depression that they experience, maybe the anxiety that they experience, whatever mental issues that they may have, if it is loss, if it is grief, If it is a problem within itself, which is maybe low self-esteem or insecurities, low self-confidence, low self-worth, there are a lot of things that people are glorifying, but there are also enabling one's behavior to continue to self-sabotage with a over, you know, with the over engaging in, self-destructive behaviors and being in certain environments that is, is conducive to self-sabotage or the numbing, people who overuse certain substances and they have certain people to validate them and make them feel, more important. So there's people out here in the world that are actually doing the work on themselves, that is actually leading a healthy lifestyle and have a goal of wellness, of consistent wellness, and living a healthy lifestyle, and have major beautiful goals, so these are things that if you are that type of individual that are doing those things, self-work on yourself, these are things that you should be proud of and that you should continue to do and stay focused, because there's so many distractions, whether that be people, whether that be substances, whether that be things that are online, everything to distract you from reaching your highest self or from reaching your goals. And it's easy to become distracted because we are human. But there's nothing to be ashamed of or to frown upon when you are alone and you're working on yourself. It's very important to have community and to have your connections and to nurture your relationships. That is a part of the human experience. It actually is very good for our health. It's very good for the heart. It's good for the feel good chemicals in our brains. So we are supposed to value our connections and our relationships, and as a supplement to everything that you're trying to do to be the best version of yourself. But in this, in this video message, what I'm talking about and what I'm really, trying to point out is, people who do the things that are not commonly talked about, the things that are not popular, that the media is not talking about. If you have that, you have a certain type of lifestyle, and it's not like, the super popular with the, the wellness and the spirituality and, intellectually driven and things that are not necessarily considered the most popular. I think that you're cool. I think that you're pretty dope. I think that you're amazing. I think that you should, remain authentic, remain your authentic self, and keep doing those things, and being open to more connection with people who are like-minded and share the same values and energy as you. And also just continuing to be in that way and living in gratitude and continuing to develop and strengthen your relationship with spirit, with the Most High. And yeah, that is the message that I wanted to share with someone or someone's on today. And as I always say, hopefully everybody is doing well and you are doing you in the most bona fide way that you know how. So may you have a peaceful, productive day. Ashe.